Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Lewis the Tech Guy. I am Lewis the Tech Guy, and today's episode we're going to make a data table. So we're going to talk about making data tables. Hold on, we'll be right back. So I got a brand new screen here, blank data table. And a data table is a nice way to organize your information. So a data table is composed of some columns and some rows, the columns being our vertical lines and the rows being our horizontal lines. Just note that you do have to have the equal amount. So for every column you create, you need to have the equal amount of cells inside each row. And we'll get to that as we go along. So the first property we're going to address is columns. Columns is a list, and they accept data columns. So in here we're going to put a label as the first property, and we're going to say text, and we're going to say label 1 as our first column header. Sorry about that. And then we're going to do another data column, and we're going to do label and text, and we're going to say label 2. Now if I hot reload my computer right now, or my application right now, it'll give me an error. And the reason it's giving me an error is because there are no rows. There need to be some rows. I need to at least put in a blank there. So if I put in rows, hot reload now, we have the beginnings of a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, so I am now going to, in my rows, put in a data row, and the data row accepts cells. And for my first cell, I'm going to put a data cell, and my data cell is going to be type text, and this will be cell 1. I'm sure I did something wrong. I tell you, I always do this, man. Never fails. I always forget to put my little brackets here. So cells is a list. It accepts a list of cells. There we go. Now remember earlier I said whatever cells, whatever amount of row columns you have to have the equal amount of data cells. So if I hot reload this now, it'll give me the same error because my second column has no cells in it. So I need to select another data cell, and in here I'm putting text, and I'm going to say cell 2. Hot reload that, and now we're happy about that. Sorry about that. So there you have it. So that's the beginnings of a cell. Now I can add another data row and kind of follow the same procedure. This time I'll remember. Yay! And call another data cell and say text and cell, let's call this one 3, and then again data cell and text of type text and say cell 4. Now if I hot reload that, bada bing bada boom. Okay, this is how you hard code one, and there's other options that you have as well that I won't go into in today's video, but most of the time you're going to be getting your information from a database of some sorts, and so you're gonna have to kind of map it out. So I created this class called user, and the user has first name, last name, we have our instantiator, and this is my list of users, and we're going to use this kind of like as if we're getting data back from a database. Okay, so I'm going to create another data table. Here we go, and space this out, and we're going to call the columns, and the columns are a list, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Data column. Yep, this thing's in my way, and we're going to do label, and we're going to say text. This is going to be first name, right? And then we'll do data column, label, text, last name, and column there. And after our columns, we have some rows, and just to make sure everything's working, I'm gonna hot reload that, and there you go. Voila, it's working. Okay, and so in my row, but since I am accepting this that is my list, I'm going to call it here. I'm going to say users.map, and in my map I'm going to say, I'm going to put the braces there. I'm going to say users, I want this to come back as users, and I want it to go into my data row and do some work. And all of this, I want it to be a list. Okay. So now that I have my data row, I'm going to create some cells, which are, I remember to put that in. So I'm going to do some data cells, and inside my data cells, I'm going to have a text widget that is going to be of type user dot first name. Not sure why it's not auto completing there, but I'll get to that later, I guess. Text user dot last name. All right, drum roll please. Refresh, and I messed something up, and the reason is because I did that and not that. And so now if I hot reload this, magic, we got Charles, we have Barkley, we have Angel. Yes. So now let's try out, let's add another field. So let's add an ID field, right? And let's add that to our instantiator, and then let's add some data here, and we're gonna say ID equal to, and I'm gonna put it in not as a number but as a string, only because that's the way we set it. And we go to 5, and then over here I have to put in another data column, and we're going to call this label text, and we're going to say call it ID, and then down here we're going to add another data cell, and we're going to say text user dot ID. Didn't mean to do all that. Hot reload, and I broke something. What did I break? Let's try starting it from the beginning, because sometimes it takes all that, and bada bing bada boom. Let's add just one more thing, and this time I'm going to work in reverse. And I'm going to say data column, label, and text, and we're going to say email. And then down here we'll say data cell text, and we'll say user.email, and then we'll come down here and we'll say final email, and then we're going to add it over here, this.email, and then we're just going to add some email addresses. Email something at gmail.com, and bear with me because I am getting to a point. Something else, some else at gmail.com. If I hot reload this, get the same error. Let's start it from the beginning. I get this nasty error. Now, if you watch the Google video, it tells you to wrap this widget in a single child scroll view, and if you hot reload that, it kind of helps a little bit. But what you need to identify is where we're having these overflows, which appear to be here in our two columns. So the way to address that, I found, is that you have to put in a flexible for these two here. So let's see if it'll let me. No, it won't let me, because why would we make life a little easier for people sometimes? If I come over here and I call this and I say let's put a flexible, and this will be my child, right? If I try to do the same thing down here, oh look, this time it works. Let's do flexible, and now if I hot reload this, it works. Except this isn't working for some strange reason. I know why. Because I need to add here the scroll direction, and it is axis that horizontal. So if I hot reload this now, I should be able to scroll away. Alright, and that's been my video. I hope something in here you found useful. If anything at all, please do subscribe. I try to post as often as I can. Thank you for watching and enjoying this time with me. Have a good day.